Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you, it might not. All right, so whoever this message is for, I feel like you have an ex that is, well, I was going to say they want to get back into your energy, but I just heard they want to get back into your good graces. This person wants to come back around. And I feel like right now they're like sniffing around your perimeter. I don't think you know that this person is doing this. Now, I'm getting the word stalking, but when I'm saying that in my mind, like this person is like stalking around you, I don't get an image in my mind of like someone hiding in your bushes and like somebody that's making you feel threatened and weird and anxious. I'm not getting that. When I'm saying stalking, like this person's stalking you, in my mind, I get an image of like a tiger stalking its prey through the jungle. And the tiger yonis in Vedic astrology, they're very sexy. And I feel like this person is sexy and they know it. And they have like a fluidity to them. They have like a smoothness. And that might be like physically in the way this person moves. You know, they come across really cool, you know, really smooth. But I think it's also socially. This person comes across really smooth and very polished and very confident. They know I just heard all the right moves in all the right places. Yeah. So like this person knows how to move in a way that is attractive. And I feel like you probably know that here about this ex, but I don't think you think about this ex anymore. I think they hurt you in the past, and they hurt you in like a particular way where I think you were shocked. I think that you cried. I think that you had to acknowledge that there was another side to this person that you didn't see clearly. And I just feel like you maybe isolated yourself in order to process this. And yeah, because you thought this person was one way. And I think the way of that is like, it's giving like, you know, 10 of cups. It's giving queen of cups, king of cups. It's giving like, you know, this person is like your person. But I think they did something here. And this person is like really schmegsy. But I think they hurt you with their sexuality, actually. And I don't think this person like forced themselves on you or anything like that. I think that you guys had the 10 of cups, or like there was the possibility for you guys to have the 10 of cups. And I think this person like jumped in with somebody else and you knew about it or you saw about it. And maybe you thought this person was a friend, but the energy that's coming through with whoever they jumped in with, it's like the page of wands and the devil. So this to me, it's like something meaningless, something fleeting, something of like a devil energy. And I feel like you were really hurt by that. It also could have been something more like materialistic for, status or gain or something. And I think it made you feel like a nerd or like a loser. I don't think you typically feel this way. I actually think that you have like very good confidence, and I think that you got it back. I think that just whatever happened here, like it really did hurt you and isolate you. And yeah, you were sad. You had this kind of like cold, numb feeling. And I think you processed this, and then I think you got back out there. I think that you made friends. And I think for a lot of you have moved on and you're not really thinking about this ex. Now, that's kind of why I'm giving you this heads up, is because this ex is thinking about you, because I feel like whatever path they went down, whoever they ended up with, it could have been this person that they, cheated with or slept with. For some of you, I'm not sure that this was like an actual, like a full-on relationship yet, but there was just a lot of promise. And this person's giving me this information too. They're saying there was a lot of promise here. There was a lot of hope here. There was, they're giving me words like passion, chemistry, spark, like y'all had it between the two of you. And this person knows that. And I feel like now this person is like kind of thinking that they messed up. But I will give you, I don't know if you fully trust this person, and they know that because like I said, this person's trying to kind of think about how they can get back into your good graces and how they can approach. That's the thing, like how they can approach, because for some of you, I feel like there's been some time here. And again, you've grieved this, and like possibly some of you have moved on. And if you have moved on, I feel like that's a very happy situation, which also makes me kind of look at this ex like very sus, because I just feel that this person is, Okay, well, I did just hear anxious preoccupied, and they are kind of coming across that way. So that's an attachment style, anxious preoccupied, and you can look into that. I feel like this person might be an anxious attacher, but what I'm kind of getting, like the hallmarks of that is anxious attachers tend to solve their problems in the external world. They don't tend to like genuinely go internal. So if this person is telling you that they have gone internal, I actually don't think that they're lying, because I think something's gone on in their life where they've had a similar experience to what you've had, or it is karmically, I think, tied in and related to you. It could also be tied into other people, because I feel like this person has given other people a shock is what I'm hearing, or like some kind of jolt. But I do feel like it's karmic to where they've had some kind of similar experience. It could have been with like a lover, where they were shocked that this person had this other side to them in a similar way, that they found out their lover was cheating. And I feel like this person has a lot of pride when it comes to their schmegduality, and they think, like, well, who would ever cheat on me? Like, I'm the greatest or something. So that would have been very jarring for this person. And it would have kind of knocked their ego, which to me, if you've been on my channel, I believe that even though it's unpleasant, it's a very spiritual experience. I feel like that was a tower moment. It's trying to get this person to process internally, because their ego, right? They've got this self-image of themselves as being the tiger, which is like always being the hunter, maybe always being in control, being really schmegsy or really alluring. And I think this person genuinely is, but I mean, there's always going to be somebody more attractive than you, or and it could even be like in a way that this person doesn't understand, because maybe their person has left them for a person that they have like the chemistry with, the soul kind of bond with. And they're like, well, that person's not as pretty as me, or that, it could have been that. It also could have been that there's a group of people here, and like a friend group of some sort that this person was trying to be involved with or was involved with. But it came out that this person has this other side, or just like it's there because they've leaned into it. Whatever this other side was that I think scared you, appalled you, shocked you, that this friend group is kind of, they're not tolerant of whatever that is. And so this person now feels the same way. It is kind of an exact karmic return, because now I'm seeing this person feeling like isolated, feeling alone, feeling like the outcast, feeling kind of like a nerd, having to kind of like cry and process through certain things. And I think it's because they did have some kind of strategy, but it did fail, or it did, because I do think this person does operate primarily from a strategic place. And I think that's something that you had to learn, because this person's very good about coming across in the right way. I'm not saying that this person is like unfeeling, because I do think that this person does have feelings, but I do feel like there's this preoccupation, right? Anxious preoccupied. There's this preoccupation with, I think, self and self-image, and the way that they kind of come across. This person really wants to be liked. Social currency is really coming through here as well. Just plain currency is also coming through here. But also they can be preoccupied with their relationships, because that's where they feel like their standing is. But in order for them to kind of get the relationships that they want, they focus a lot on the way that they come across in their facade. I think that comes across because we get good at what we focus on, and this person is very smooth. Like I was saying, I think that they know how to make all the right moves. But spirit, with whatever this tower moment is, spirit is trying to push this person inwards. And I just want to draw your attention to that, because this person, I do think they want to come back and tell you that they've changed. And I think that this person has had an experience that's really rocked them, and it has sent them to a deeper place in themselves. They have had some kind of emotional experience. That is true. I do feel like this person has regrets. I do feel like they regret what they did to you. I think they almost immediately thought about that. Like when their life started kind of falling apart, I think they immediately kind of thought about you in some way, of like, that was where I made the wrong turn. Like, I really regret my devil side kind of coming out. I regret following impulse here, or I regret chasing materialism. Because it was like really shallow, and this person, because whatever it was like very shallow. There wasn't like, there's depth here between the two of you. There's like emotions, and that will hold you, during difficult times. And I think this person's just had a difficult time where they're like, it'd be really nice if I had some love, if I had some warmth, if I had some empathy, if I had some support. But this person hasn't nurtured that, hasn't chosen like the relationships and the paths where they nurture that. Instead, it is coming from a trauma space in this person, because they feel most comfortable when they are socially situated, like in a particular way. But it's still false. Like, it's a false sense of comfort, because it's built on something extremely shallow. And so, of course, there would eventually be a tower moment. And that tower moment, I think, has just occurred. Or maybe like, I just saw like a domino, a line of dominoes kind of falling. So it's like maybe multiple tower moments that led to like a major tower moment. I just heard You're a crisis of my faith. Would've, could've, should've. Oh my gosh, that's like the second time I haven't listened to that song in ages. Taylor Swift, would've, could've, should've. If you never looked my way, I would have stayed on my knees. Yeah, I never would have danced with the devil at 19. So for some of you, 19 could be relevant. Like for some of you, this is something like from your past, or like you could have been 19, or maybe that's how you felt about this person. Maybe you were 19 and this person could have been like older, or I don't know. Again, it feels very matchy. And so I feel like this person is kind of having these like realizations, but they are surface level. But I do think it's because this person's not used to functioning in an internal space. This is somebody who, when they have a feeling or when they feel uncomfortable, the solution to that is always some kind of maneuvering in the external world, which is why they do that really, really well. So Spirit is trying to get this person inwards, but instead I feel like this person's they think that they've changed, and I think it's on offer whether or not they're going to change, but I feel like this person's sniffing around your space. And to me personally, that looks like the same routine that this person has always kind of done, where they preoccupy in the external world. I also still think that this is it's very selfishly motivated. This person does have like feelings for you, right? Though, and it does feel different to them, and it does feel deeper. I do feel like this might actually be a soulmate space, because I think you're a crisis of this person's faith in a good way, of they put their faith in like the wrong things, because I see this person with you, they have to consider a different set of scenarios. They know that they can't, I feel like naturally this person would want to come through and they would want to present themselves as like the Queen of Cups, regardless of gender, like the Queen of Cups, somebody with love, to offer you. They want to be your 10 of Cups now that they've involved in some kind of devil energy or did whatever it was that they did. They want to have some kind of passionate reunion. They want to have like even like a fun wedding, or like and have all your friends around too, because I also feel like a friend group is relevant in this person's life, where they maybe are, I don't know if this person's like emo, or there's like a group of the Island of Misfit Toys, or like a group of ne'er-do-wells that are this person has a lot of love for, but they're not flashy friends. They're not the kind of people that's like plastics. They're not the plastics, and so I think this person turned away from that group of friends as well. And they're like, once again, I feel like this person feels in a desert. Oh, and desert, Rahu lives in the desert. Rahu is the north node of the moon. And when you chase Rahu, you chase greed and you chase society. And it's like nothing is ever enough. And that really is that devil energy, right? Hungry ghost energy. Like if you're in Buddhism, and it leads to craving, and all that craving leads to suffering. And that's where this tower moment has come in, because this person has, I think, done a pretty good job of chasing down their cravings, and it ended up not being the answer. I don't think that this person's quite put all of that together in a truly deep, holistic, way, but that's what this is. Craving is not the way. And so I feel like this person though is kind of craving you, because they're craving some support and they're craving some kind of empathy. But I think they are really kicking themselves, because this person does have like shapeshifter energy, where this person is, they have feelings. This person does. Okay. But they're like looking, again, they just do the thing that they always do. They look out at the external world, they get the lay of the land in order to know how to approach and how they want to present themselves and how to come off polished and how to cut just the right image, like in your mind. This person's going through that. They're spending their time, they're spinning their wheels, contemplating that instead of focusing on the thing inwardly that they need to focus on, that was shattered, in this tower moment. And it could have been, again, somebody that they chose over you. Now this person, okay, this is the thing that they don't want to admit. And I'm telling you, it's like pulling teeth to kind of get this out of this person, because they're thinking what to tell you about their backstory. They're like, because you guys have been apart for a while. It's like, so what to tell you? They went back to some kind of ex, whatever it is. It's this devil energy page of flames. So it's a page of wands. I'm sorry. It's a page of flames in the deck that I'm looking at. So it's something superficial. It's something that maybe looked good on the surface. And this person is thinking about what to say about it. And how to present themselves. Because like I said, they want to present themselves as this like Queen of Cups, as your 4 of Wands, as your 10 of Cups. You guys could have had that if that's the path that they chose, and that's the side of themselves that they wanted to invest in the past. They know that they can't approach you in that way. For some of you, it's because you already have that elsewhere and you already know what that is. And this person's kind of lack in that department, I think, would become clear, but they still could want to be trying to get into a friend group or an old friend group that the two of you had. I just don't feel like that's what it would have been good for this person back in the day. I just don't think that is what is supposed to happen now. I feel like this person is supposed to hermit mode. I think that they're supposed to do exactly what you did, which is to go spend some time alone, cry, feel less than, feel unworthy, grapple with those feelings existentially. Like genuinely, what if I'm not the king of the forest? What if I'm just a regular person? Like, what if I'm a nerd? Because I feel like this person feels kind of like a nerd on the inside, but they run away from those feelings and they never want to present themselves as, I don't know if this person has like interests or hobbies that people think are like not cool, because they always worry about like their social positioning. It's like the air that they breathe. And that's really been knocked here. And it is a narcissistic injury, like whatever's gone on, that part of it, because they feel socially like they're embarrassed or that their standing was knocked because I think their partner was like cheating or, I just heard serves them right though. Like, I don't know if some of you are still hurt and still feel kind of bitter. I do think though that it comes in a way that does kind of come from a neutral space, because that does feel like karma would agree and karma would say the same thing. And karma's kind of issued its decree that this person needs to kind of get what they give a bit in order to grapple with the other side of it, like to get the other end of the stick. But this person, instead of doing that, they're sniffing around you and your happy situation because it's selfish. This person is having emotions, but they kind of find a way to make their emotions all about them and all about selfishness. And because if this person had love for you, I feel like they would recognize that you had love somewhere else and they would support that and they would stay away and they would, be internal. But instead, this person is, they feel like they can't win because so this situation, the point I'm trying to make is it's spinning their wheels because this, I really feel this person's like anxious, preoccupied, because that's like the fourth or fifth time I've just heard that in my mind. But keep in mind, fearful, avoidant attachment style, they have an anxious, preoccupied side. So for some of you, I feel like maybe this person's always in their dismissive, avoidant side. Like they're always in their avoidant side, but something about this situation shoved them into their anxious, preoccupied side to themselves, and they don't like that, and they're floundering there, and they're not used to it. But spirit just like baptized them with fire into their shadow side. It could be something like that, but I think for a lot of you, this person's like a true anxious, preoccupied. But I think that I kind of feel like you are soulmates with this person. I still don't think you're supposed to be near them. I think you're kind of the mirror, you and your situation. And I feel like you've got a happy situation. You've got I just heard happy wife, happy life. So maybe you're like a happy wife and you have a happy life. Or if you're a man, vice versa. And that's a mirror of kind of, what this person could have had. But again, it's like very selfish. Those emotions are coming from this very selfish place and they have to start like debriefing. And I think they are actually, spirit's kind of tricking this person into debriefing, using their well-worn routes, because spirit loves us all. And so spirit will find a way. And so it's using their well-worn routes. And this person's well-worn route is, how do I position myself socially? So they think about coming back a lot and they mean to come back, but they can't quite get their teeth around this because I feel like they so thoroughly debase themselves, or they know that they kind of can't come back from whatever they did. They know that this was like bad. You don't really think of them. And there was a secret here. They didn't even, after whatever came out, I feel like they didn't even like illuminate you on some kind of secret, in order to ease you feeling like shit. They just, they do have like massive regrets about that. I feel like now I can't really tell if they did then, because it feels like this person, they distract themselves is what they do. And I feel like it's with partying and schmegs and all of that is probably stuff that you don't want to hear. But I mean, I feel like you've processed this situation. And I feel like probably that's what you processed as well, is like that this is kind of this person. They don't stop to cultivate a depth. And I think that there's something about the tiger that I'm getting, like the way that the tiger moves and stuff, and the way that it's able to operate in the world and feel confident or something. You could have mistaken that for a kind of like inner depth with this person, but it's kind of like not. But now, and it feels very delayed, they are having this like massive regret about backstabbing you, about, this card says pain, cheating, deception, mind games, and love bombing. And I think this person wants to love bomb, actually, to like come back, and they want to like really make a splash. They want to like flip this energy, which I feel like is what this person is, again, used to doing. This person is used to following their devil impulse energy because it's distracting, right? Schmegs for your brain is a very distracting experience. And that's what they're kind of, I think, barely kind of scratching the surface as to realizing, is that they didn't listen, and so they didn't win. And I feel like, or they didn't succeed is what I'm getting. And I feel like they didn't listen maybe to you, or there could have been somebody warning this person about their habits or their behaviors, or because it feels like this person did have some kind of friends, genuine friends around them that were maybe trying to guide them by the right road, but they also had kind of the wrong crowd around them too. But I also feel like this person didn't listen to their heart. And it's because they drowned their heart out. I'm seeing somebody kind of turn the stereo up, and it's with these experiences of like schmegs and partying. And they do that so that they don't have to get in touch with their inner space and allow that to guide them. Because this person, I think, does feel like they stink, on the inside, especially if they were to live out their heart. They feel like they would be a loser. And I'm getting from Mean Girls that scene where they're walking through the mall, all of them. It's like Katie's first time with them, and she's still like in her self clothes, Damien's big pink shirt. And she was talking about how she was thinking about joining mathletes because that's like, she's good at math. She likes math. Like she said, it's comforting to her because it's the same in every country. And they're like, oh my God, you can't do that. It's social suicide. Thank God you have us to guide you. Like this person has that voice internalized. Like you can't go do the things that you want to do because it's social suicide. And then you're not going to be like loved. It's the voice lies to them. And that's why they have these patterns of being very anxious and very like preoccupied in the external world. I also think that this person they're doing their debriefing because okay, how would you come back to this soulmate? Because I feel like you're their soulmate. Their repertoire won't work with you because you're a real one. And you have depth, and it feels like that does like contrast to this person in a way that they do respect, I think, and like. And I think that I think at first whenever you all were together, they were intimidated by that, and they kind of didn't know how to handle it. I think they felt like a fish out of water, and because I think you were an embodiment of this person's shadow. And that's what they say about like the attachment theory anyways. If this person's an anxious preoccupied and you are on the avoidant side of things, fearful avoidant or dismissive avoidant or something, both of you would have been an embodiment of each other's shadow, and having to kind of grapple with that external version like of your shadow. And I feel like this person was kind of overwhelmed by that. And so they handled it the way that they did, and you handled it the way that you did with like your attachment patterning. And this person, they run, and so how would they present themselves? Well, because this person, I keep talking around this too, because the thing that they don't want to say is that they gold digged somebody. I think that they actually gold digged someone. I think that they went in for, I think it was gold digging actually. They don't want to say that, I don't think, but this person, they're thinking about the way to kind of push this forward. And I think this person, it's not like they kind of buy it themselves. I think this person wants you to feel sorry for them because nothing about that would make you feel sorry for them. Again, they're coming across as a tiger in my mind. They're the hunter, they're the predator, they're the prey. They intentionally know that they're smooth and they know how to do that. So for some of you, be very careful. If this person can't admit or like can't possibly fathom that they aren't just sweet peaches and cream all the time, that actually they do stuff that's predatory, that is selfish, that's gold digging, that leaving you out in the cold, that's violent, that's inconsiderate. If this person can't fathom that, then that's one of the tip-offs that you could be dealing with a narcissist, someone who's on that spectrum. I learned that in the book that I'm reading, and I just wanted to throw that out there. Cause there's already kind of this like self involvement. But I think this person, they feel like they can't do something for themselves. So again, I think that they, went after some kind of partner, and they could have gone back to an ex is what I'm getting. If it's not that, then I feel like, again, it was something very superficial. It was like they met somebody at a party, somebody very successful, somebody that wanted one thing from them, like, and they just use that to their benefit. But I think they could have gone back to an ex or something here. And they don't want to admit that to you, that there was this like gold digging thing. So I think that they are thinking about how they could position that because they want you to kind of feel sorry for them in order to maintain control. So I think they want to say that that was their best option, or something. And they want you to be like, why was that your best option? And they would say something like, it could be, well, my career wasn't doing very well, or like my health wasn't doing very well. I needed some help, or I just needed any kind of support. It's victim, rescuer, persecutor that's coming through, because that's not entirely true. And again, if this person, it leans more anxious, like their anxious, preoccupied self. A lot of anxious preoccupieds can have like a subconscious, almost existential fear of not being needy, of like being actually self-sufficient. But this person weirdly is coming across like a tiger, and I feel like that needs to be reconciled in this. They're very capable, they're very strong, and they're very socially strategic, but they kind of position themselves, at least with you, I think they feel they need an excuse for why they did what they did. That's not, I was the predator. I was strategic. I did it because I wanted the money. I did it because I wanted the social status. I did it because that's what it really is. And I think you kind of already think that way about this person. You kind of already know that about them, but they want to give you a different narrative where it was just the best option that they had at the time, when really their best option, I mean, I'm not saying that this person didn't need assistance, but they didn't need to gold dig someone. You know, this person doesn't want to like have to rely on themselves, or they could have built up a skill in something, or they could have worked their way up from the bottom in a career. You know, there was other options here. And again, when they're saying that's their best option, I think they're coming from some kind of desperation, but I just feel that this person did have people around them. This person did have other avenues. This is kind of, I just heard, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, it's like this person is very, very, very much in a situation that they chose to be in. They made decisions. And I do think that this person wasn't really thinking much about what they were doing, because they were just so desperate to fit in or to look nice or like look a certain way. And it's this like social navigation. But they always distract themselves with that instead of actually debriefing with themselves, actually doing the inner work, becoming more self-reliant. And I feel like that's what you've done. That's what you did in this situation. And it seems you did it pretty quick, actually. Like, all things considered, you did it pretty quick, because you're well-versed in the inner realm. And that's what this person is kind of faced with right now. And it does feel like that is a part of a bigger tower moment, because Spirit is trying to get this person's attention. And like I said, Spirit is using the routes that this person has navigated in their own mind. So in order to wake them up to their inner space, that they're having this tower moment because, yeah, there's a lot that they didn't see beneath the surface, because they don't want to see beneath the surface, because they think that their problems are going to be solved by this like social jockeying. That is the fundamental underlying pattern. And that is still very much active, because this person wants to come back and say that they've had an emotional realization, and they have. But that is just the start of their journey, and they need to figure out why they are the way they are, but they also need to build up a different side of themselves. And that's exactly the position that they're in. They need to become much more self-reliant. But this person, they're not to use other people. That's not their spiritual path. And if they try to do that, and they're trying to align themselves in order to gain, in order to benefit in this devil energy, this is what's best in the short term. Because that's really what this was. When they say that, oh, this was my best option. It might have been in the short term, but in the long term, it's definitely not their best option. And there was no consideration of that. Or there was, and this person they kind of think, oh, well, I'll handle it. Because like I said, this person is tactical, and they're capable in a social capacity, in putting themselves forward in meet space. This person's they know how to cut an image. They know how to move. They know how to come across confident. They know how to shapeshift. This person knows how to present themselves, to kind of shed a skin and present themselves as having transformed, when really they just changed their clothes and their makeup, and they maybe had some superficial realizations, but they never really allow it to kind of sink in, because that feels existential for them, you know? And so they're currently thinking about that, but they also, there's a lot of things that they don't want to say, which is that they gold dig someone. They don't want to admit that. Like, and I feel like there might be another secret here. It could have to do with like affairs. They don't want to tell you that they feel like shit, basically. They kind of know not to position themselves that way. Yeah, I do think this person's seeing things clearly, but yeah, it's from the Seven of Swords just came out. I mean, this person, they're seeing it still kind of like from a distance, you know, is what I'm getting. They feel better when they're, I don't know, when something here is like cold, or when they're like surrounded by a group of people or something. This person doesn't do well alone and in an internal space. And I think that you actually do very well alone and in an internal space. And so again, this person's looking in your mirror right now, and you are the embodiment of their shadow. And I almost said their shower. Sorry if you can hear that. I'm almost done here. It's like this cleansing kind of a thing. It's cleansing for this person to look into your mirror, because I do feel like there is some kind of strong soulmate connection here, where you guys are assisting each other to heal, but they are supposed to be kind of like at a distance. That's why I'm still looking at this X kind of side eye, because you have moved on, and I think some of you are in a different situation, or you are like very happy. They know what they put you through, and they still want to try to make this approach, which seems to still be about them. So I'm not sure underlying, and I think you know that already to some extent, that you got to watch it with this person, this kind of superficial shape-shifting move, and that they're very capable in the way that they kind of come across. So anyways, they are scared of your judgment, by the way. But I think it's because they're scared of their own judgment. And I think they need to get that kind of square in their mind, that if they stopped, because it's like for a lot of you, you are their conscience. You are like, because they won't connect with it in a real way, or they won't connect with it for long, or they don't operate from that. It's like you are some kind of external representation of their their conscience. And this person wants to be able to say, well, don't judge me. They want to position this where you can't judge them. But I think there's no avoiding that they deserve quite a bit of judgment for whatever it was that they've involved in. And this does feel like a long-term cycle. And I also think this person might try to bait you into an argument. This person likes to like fight and then sleep together, because to them it erases the harm, and they say, oh, see, we're getting along again. But also it's a way for them to feel like you were also just as argumentative or something like that. I don't know. So this person has like some kind of strategy here in their mind where they have activating strategies. Again, this is an anxious preoccupied. I really strongly get activating strategy. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear that. Whatever crushing is going on. I'm just going to finish this up because I feel like maybe this part is like very grating for this person. They almost don't want to look at this, but, anxious preoccupieds have what's called like activating strategies, where they try to activate closeness. They have gravitational strategies where they try to pull people in. And I feel like that's kind of a part of it, but it's just that it's a strategy. And, anxious preoccupieds do have a lot of warmth, but you got to watch that it's, that they're not securely attached. If they were securely attached, that would all come from a healthy, neutral place. And it doesn't. It comes from a selfish place. It comes because they want something, and it comes from a trauma space. So I'll just leave that there. If that resonates, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys.